pretty much everything in the world is either phallic or yonic, right? Some things, like boats, are both. In the case of the obelisk, it's a decidedly phallic object. It has come to symbolize white male hegemony, but it's derived from Egyptian obelisks, which were placed at the entrances to temples in pairs, symbolizing divine masculine, feminine, light and dark. A balance that, we've lost, arguably intentionally. When seeking to reclaim that imagery and take the obelisk back and claim not just the obelisk, but monuments in general, right, for the people that they supposedly represent, I think it's incumbent upon us, artists in particular, to propose new monuments, monuments that do represent us. My name is Michael Zelehoski. I collapse objects in space. Sometimes I bring two-dimensional objects back into space. Basically, I make stuff out of stuff. Probably the most well-known example is a house that I unfolded across a wall, kind of like a reverse origami. If you were going to just take a structure apart and unwrap it inside, sort of colliding with outside. It's like, how do you see an object from multiple points of view simultaneously? How do you literally transform a physical object into a picture of itself without losing its objecthood? So I've been making, I don't want to call it protest art, but I've been making work that's dealt with racial inequality and police brutality since probably the earliest piece was 2013. And that work is a little bit complicated. For me as a white dude, to what extent can I really opine on this topic? Like, I feel like it's important, I feel like it's necessary, but it's like, who the fuck are you? I think it's still incumbent upon me to call that out. Like, we are all fighting for the same thing. And regardless of who we are, that's necessary for us to do. I'd been eyeing that plywood since the initial protests. Wood has a unique capacity to absorb meaning and the passage of time. And for people to just actively intervene in those surfaces and say what they need to say in a way that's totally unself-conscious, unscripted, it's amazing. So when you take the obelisk and you return its partner, suddenly you have balance. When you twist them together to form a caltrop, you have a symbol of protest, but also of unity and cooperation. When you build it out of plywood, that's got the messages of protesters just emblazoned on their surfaces. You have a monument that does reflect the will of the people, that does reflect people's self-expression.